Welcome to our webinar with Nemanja from ManageWP. ManageWP is a wonderful way to manage multiple WordPress websites. My name is Steve from OS Training, and I'm going to be your host today. We're going to be talking with Nemanja about a completely new version of ManageWP that has just launched. It's called Orion. And it's probably the biggest change that they've ever made, rewriting the whole code base and really modernizing the entire interface. It's been an enormous and exciting project, and I'm really interested to hear what Nemanja has to say about the change and about the new features in ManageWP. So welcome, Nemanja. Can you introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about who you are?
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me here. I'm a growth engineer for ManageWP, which means basically that I take care of most of the business side of things. We've been a WordPress development agency for over a decade. And way back in 2010, we realized that we started getting overwhelmed by the amount of websites that we need to manage. And as you all probably know, managing websites is no fun at all. So we started thinking, hey, how about if we built some kind of software that will help us manage all these websites? And in a short span of a little over a year, we completely pivoted our company. We dropped the consulting business and focused solely on ManageWP. So when we started working on it, the idea was to help WordPress professionals manage their websites more efficiently. And we decided that we need two user personas, or two types of WordPress professionals that we need to help. The first one is the WordPress developers, and the second one is the WordPress, let's call it maintenance people, or shall I say, people who provide professional maintenance services to their clients. So that's how we decided to focus things. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how ManageWP, the current classic version, helps those people. And then we're going to move over to the Orion and show you all the new stuff that's already here and the one that is about to come in the coming months. So, the WordPress developers, one thing that's really, really important is to have all the websites on one place. So as you can see in the sidebar, we have already like 11 websites connected to this dashboard, and I can see an overview of everything on one place. You can perform updates with just a click. Like, for example, we're going to run an update of the 2015 theme on 7 different websites. We're just going to click Update All, and in a matter of seconds, it will be done. So this is one of the things that really, really saves time. You can access a website with one click. You can perform updates on multiple websites with just one click. And everything is in one place. You don't need to manage login credentials, keep track of login URLs, etc., etc. It also helps you manage post revisions, table overhead, spam comments, all the stuff you keep doing on a daily, on a weekly basis. But the most important thing for the developers is to provide an environment that you can safely experiment in. So, for example, the backups are a great way to save your work before you decide to make some drastic changes on your website. For example, you want to work on your website, you want to make some changes, but you're not sure if they're going to work out. So you can take an easy way out and create a backup just before you start working on that website, like this. So if you mess something up and you decide that you want to roll back, you have a backup ready that you can go back to, and no harm, no foul. Another important feature for a person who does web development is the ability to move your website from one place to another. And I'm not talking about staging and live on a single server. I'm talking about a completely different service if you want. So for example, if your client has a live website on GoDaddy, and you have your own development environment, either in localhost or maybe on Bluehost, it doesn't matter. ManageWP works on all of this. And so, for example, I'm going to show you how the clone works. We've got one website, nasapatka123.com, split, and we have nasapatka123.com. So what we want to do is we want to clone one website to another. And no, let's say we want to clone the superheroes over the mountains. So we're going to pick split, and we're going to say next. It's going to create a snapshot of the website so you could get ready for the migration. And when the backup or the snapshot is ready, we're going to pick the destination for the clone. So this is the source, this is the destination. So what it does is it creates a snapshot. It takes the database and all the files on the website and wraps it up in a nice little zip archive. And when we want to clone it, we're going to move that zip archive to the destination website. It's going to unpack it, change admin credentials if needed, and it will be a completely functional copy of your website on a completely, or maybe not. Okay, sure. Let me just see if it's still the same. Okay, so the clone was complete, but it reported some kind of error. Usually we can try again. It's probably the page builder that I used. I used Themify for both, so some of the settings might not have worked. And it's here. Okay, so it's a completely same copy of a website on another location, which is great when you need to juggle between the development and live websites. Another user persona that we built ManageWP for are the maintenance crowd. So you're selling your services to a client, and that client is paying usually a solid sum of money, let's say $10 and up to a couple of $100 for you to keep an eye on their website. That means, apart from the scheduled backups that we already mentioned, you need to provide a couple of other services. ManageWP can help you with that. The first one of the core features is the uptime monitor. So when you enable the uptime monitor, it keeps track if your website goes up or down. If it notices that the website went down, it sends you an email or a text message notifying you that the website is down, and once it gets back up, it will also log that it's back online. Another important feature is the white labeling. If you go to a website, for example, let's go here, ManageWP will allow you to hide the fact that you're actually using this plugin. So this here, maintenance and site care client, is actually the ManageWP worker. We let you customize the name of your ManageWP plugin, as you can see here, so you can upsell your service. as far as your clients know, you custom built your own maintenance solution. You worked hard to build it, to maintain it, and that deserves a higher value of the service, which of course means more money for you per month. Another interesting feature for your clients is the ability to send them client reports. Client reports are a nifty feature to send to your client each month or each week, depends on how you handle payments and the payment cycle. It lists all the things you've done from ManageWP, like backups, updates, comment moderation, and it sends it in a form of an executive report, so your client will know all the work you've done for them in the past month. Now, these are the two user personas that we built ManageWP for. And these are the two user personas that we wanted to build ManageWP Orion for. So back in 2013, we decided that the old ManageWP dashboard simply is not fast enough. We've reached the maximum potential that the WordPress as a platform can provide for ManageWP. So we needed to start thinking about different ways to handle all of these requests, the database structure, etc. So we started working on Mongo database. We started working with JavaScript. And if you guys know what Calypso is, well, we basically built our own version of Calypso like half a year ago. So what you see here is not running on WordPress. So it's run by AngularJS. And in the back end, you got a Symfony framework. So the new Orion dashboard has been completely refactored from the ground up. So the code has been rewritten, optimized, updated. And the best part is that it was done by a team that now had 5 years of experience with ManageWP, and now there are over 20 of us, so there were a lot more development hours. What's different? The main difference is that we've invested a lot of time into finding a better user interface. Now, as you can see, there are different ways that you can manage your websites. This screen is similar to the screen that you know from the ManageWP Classic version, where you can see all the updates here, optimization, different statistics, etc., etc. But if you go to here, the thumbnail view, you suddenly see a thumbnail of your website, and you can easily access various functions on that website. For example, let's say backups. Backups are one of the main features, one of the features that really improved with Orion. As you probably know, and you probably experienced yourself, a lot of WordPress backup solutions fail. And that includes the classic ManageWP backup. It's because of the way they've been built. It's a simple PHP script that no matter how much you optimize it, it will always depend on the resources of the website server. Which means if you got a low-end shared host server, it's probably going to fail on anything over a couple of dozen megabytes. So we started thinking, hey, our chief concern is for our website, for our ManageWP Orion to be the most reliable solution on the market. So we need to build a completely new backup solution. We started from there, and we decided, okay, so we need to completely change the infrastructure. So we built a completely new infrastructure on our own cloud service. And what we do is, instead of forcing your website server to do all the work, we query remotely your websites, quietly collect everything we need for a backup, and assemble it off-site. It means that it takes up a lot less resources to create a backup. it's little over an average website visit, as opposed to your website server completely crashing when you run a couple of regular PHP backups like ManageWP or Backup Body or Updraft. So it works with less resources. It's much more reliable because if you can visit your website, the backup will also work. And as an additional bonus, it has offsite storage, unlike the regular storage on a site server, which means that no matter what happens to your website, it closes, and the domain expires, the server physically crashes, you have a safe offsite storage waiting for you to restore your website. Another core feature that we're working for people who want to handle website maintenance is the client reports. It's one of those things that you need to automate. We plan, maybe I should give a little context first. The Orion currently is in the mirror mode. What does that mean? Each ManageWP user that has a paid account or is on trial also has access to the ManageWP Orion. Any website that they add in the classic version will show up also on ManageWP Orion. As you can see here, all these 11 websites have also been on the classic version. So this is a temporary solution until we introduce all the features that you've seen in the classic mode. That means we still have several tools to complete, like client, like uptime monitoring, like performance scans. This Monday we introduced security scans on the Orion. So what happens is, yeah, this is a great example of some of the upgrades that we're working on the Orion. Security scans exist in the classic version as well, but in here we built a history, so you can see all the previous scans. We also plan on building a scheduling module, which means that you can fully automate your security scans. For example, set them to run daily or weekly or maybe even monthly, and if they come across anything suspicious, you get an email saying, hey, you got something flagged on this and this website, please go and check and see what can happen. It works excellent in conjunction with the backup, because when the backup is stored offsite, we can always scan everything without interfering with your website, and we can always flag something, say, hey, this is corrupt, but you got a backup version from a week ago that's clean. Do you want us to restore the file to that version? It's also one of the things that we are currently working on, and that's the security module. If you're familiar with the security modules in the WordPress ecosystem, it's something like WordFence and iTeam Security, but since it's being built by ManageWP, not acquired or a standalone version, it will work perfectly with all the ManageWP tools, giving you one place for all your WordPress development and maintenance needs. Another thing we're working on, and this is fairly unofficial, but it's something that we've been doing for quite a while, is the hosting. ManageWP has been built to work with 99% of the hosting companies on the market, but we decided that it's best to build high performance hosting infrastructure that is under our ownership and that works perfectly with ManageWP. So every time a user has a problem with ManageWP running on a low-end host and doesn't know where to go, we can always recommend our own because we know that it will work perfectly with our service. So that's about it when it comes to ManageWP and the Orion. We have a lot of features, a lot of plans. Some of them have been outlined on the ManageWP Orion roadmap on our website. And a lot of things that I mentioned here are about to go into the next roadmap after we finish this one. So we're pretty excited about the future and what's coming for ManageWP and its users. I've been talking a lot here. I'm not usually used to this kind of webinars. So if you have any questions, or maybe something is unclear, or maybe you want to hear more about specific features, now would be a good time to ask. So, do we have the chat enabled?
Yeah, Nemanja, we've got a question for you here. Could we get a demo of updating a site? I know WordPress 4.4 just came out this week. What would the process look like if you had a release like 4.4 and you needed to update 40 sites?
Okay, let's say I update, let's say, Nemanja Rocks, and well, this is already updated. Okay, so Nemanja Rocks and the blog. I'm going to access them first from here, just so you could see what's going on. And the blog. So we got an available update on Nemanja Rocks and on the blog. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say, okay, I've got 8 available updates, and it's this one and this one, and I'm going to say update. And you got a progress bar in the upper right. This is one of the great features of ManageWP Orion. It's something that we do. WordPress could not run asynchronous calls, which means it could not do several things at once. If you thought it was doing, it was because it was queued. And with the AngularJS, we are able to handle several tasks at the same time. So both websites are being updated parallel. And when they're done, we're going to get a small notification that's going to say, okay, everything is complete, or maybe, hey, something went wrong, you should investigate. This is a great moment if something goes wrong. It's a great moment to have an up-to-date backup ready. Okay, so it's complete. We didn't get any notification. That means that everything went smoothly. We're going to refresh both websites. Okay, we got number 44 running 2015 theme, and on the other one we also got 44 running landing theme. And this is it. It doesn't matter how many websites you got. You just need to click, and everything will be done within seconds. For example, this is 20. Let's say this one as well. 23 theme updates. And it's going to start working. In the meantime, I might go to another website, and I'm going to maybe do a security scan. So while my updates are working, I've done a security scan, I've checked the blacklist status, everything is fine. I maybe went to see backups. Wait, do I have backups for this? Okay, no worries. If something goes wrong, I got a backup from, for example, from 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. So if something went wrong, I would just go and I would say restore backup. I'm giving you also the demo of the backup restore process. So what I've got here is a rundown of the backup version from then. It says, hey, I've got 8 active plugins. I got 4 active plugins, 8 posts, 113 approved comments. I also got a thumbnail of my website. Actually, it's not a thumbnail. It's more of a screenshot. So if, for example, my website has been defaced or something got broken in the meantime, I would notice this on the screenshot, and I would just go back further into time and find a backup that was functioning perfectly. While this is restoring, I might as well give you a rundown of the backup content, where you can actually check the content of the website and find if there is maybe some kind of rogue file, or maybe you just need the WP config file. Maybe you forgot your database credentials, and it doesn't make sense.
Hey, Nemanja, one question
Yeah.
from the attendees was, is it possible to configure ManageWP so that it takes a backup just before running an update?
Right now, no. It's something that we plan on doing for these cases in particular. The chief problem is when you're performing an action on your website is that you don't break anything. And the idea to have backup ready, right now I've crashed my website. Unfortunately, the restore process is still being tweaked a bit. So the idea would be, if I've got a backup that is up to date, I can perform this without any issues. And it's something that we're working on. It will be probably including it in the next several months. So when you click on an update, yeah, this is one of the features that we've been working on. If the website is offline and you want to restore, you're able to do this. You just need to enter your FTP credentials, and it will perform the restore process on its own. So one of the things that I wanted to mention is the restore process, the backup process will be included at some point, but right now you only got the option of manually running a backup with the backup now option, or you could turn on, for example, real-time backup that we plan on introducing in a few months, and you can just go back to a version of your website that was made 30 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, etc.
Great. Another question from the attendees. What does ManageWP do in terms of notifications? Can you set it up to email you, for example, if there are plugin updates or core updates?
Yeah, we've got the, let me just show you, the digest option. So when you want to keep an eye on your websites and you don't want to log into ManageWP all the time, you got the email notifications. So you get to pick if you want weekly or daily digest emails, and you get to pick which kind of notifications you want. If you're interested in plugin updates, theme, WordPress, etc. Also, if you're running backups, you want to know if those backups are running successfully or maybe they're failing. This is where you set it up.
Great. And so one other question that's come in is, you mentioned a couple of things that are coming up in 2016 for ManageWP. What are the main highlights that are coming? You have a hosting service. You have the complete launch of Orion. What are the big ticket items on the roadmap for 2016?
Well, the chief feature right now is the backup, because it will be a completely reliable backup. Right now you got the option of choosing cheaper backups or going with a service like WordPress from Automatic. but WordPress from automatic is really, really expensive, and it's really not an option for most people and most websites. We're talking about something like $15 for one backup for one website. So we're trying to make an affordable backup solution that's rock solid at the same time. And this is the core feature for ManageWP itself. The security module is another thing that we're working on, which gives you the ability to set up security for your websites as well. For example, right now we only have a two-factor authentication for the ManageWP account, but once we get the security module out, you'll also be able to do this on your websites that are connected to ManageWP. And the WordPress hosting is the third really important feature, where we're focusing on WordPress hosting. So it's WordPress only. We're not interested in any other kind of CMS or maybe just a generic hosting. It will be completely focused on WordPress users. And one of the interesting features that we're introducing is the ability to, let's call it flexible pricing. So for example, if you're paying something like $20 or $30 per month to WP Engine, this will give you the option of using that same amount of resources. Actually, you will pay 20 or 30 bucks to have an unlimited number of websites on that hosting, which means if you want a high performance, you will use that VPS to run only one WordPress website. But if, for example, you want to have a couple of websites that have reasonable performance, but you don't want to break the bank, you can use that same VPS with those same resources to run 5 websites. So instead of paying $30 for a website, you will pay only $6 for a managed WordPress hosting, which is a pretty awesome price tag.
Thank you very much indeed, Nemanja, for presenting. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your week. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thank you for having me.